Okay, we'll see if we get more people in. Oh, wow, I love this. We got middle school and math people. We got lots of awesome people on here. Like I said, if you guys could just put in your chat, who you are and what you do, I would appreciate it. I'm going to let Danielle in. So if everybody could just put what they do and who they are in the chat, that would be great. And if you want to, you could put where we can find you on social media so that we can support each other in this group, because, some of this is about networking as well. And we are all on Zoom. So I would love to see everybody still networking. That would be great. And we're getting participants on. And I'm sorry for the delay, but you got to love technology and hate technology at the same time. So I am so glad that you guys are all here this morning. I'm going to start sharing my screen in just a minute. And like I said, if you guys all would put what you do and who you are, and I will put my link tree in here so you guys can find me. And I want to welcome you and tell everybody good morning this morning. And thank you for your patience this morning. Emily is saving the day. So anybody that sees Emily, if you're up on entrepreneurship week, make sure you go say, thank her so much for all of this. I really, really appreciate it. She looks like she hopped off, so she must have got this all under control. So I really appreciate it. And welcome to Entrepreneurship Week. Let me start sharing my screen. I would love participants. So if you either want to show your face or you want to go ahead and just do it in the chat, I would love people to participate, because I want to make sure I'm covering what you guys need to know. Because today we're going to talk about everybody's favorite thing, right? It's everybody's favorite. We know it is. We're going to talk about today putting together our business checklist, because that's so important. And as we're going into, can you believe it? We're almost in 2024. Next week's actually Thanksgiving. Isn't that crazy? I don't know about you, but I wonder where the heck this year went. So let me start my slideshow, and then I will share my screen. And if you guys haven't noticed, and I hope you have, I'm trying to figure out, I should have shared first. Just a second here. Make sure there's not more participants trying to get on, because that's what I was really focusing on. We got everybody on. Now we're going to share screen, and I'm going to put slides up. And so I hope everybody can see the slides. Let me know if you can't when I start sharing just now. So we're going to talk about our business health check today. That's what we're going to talk about. Does everybody see the slides? If not, please let me know. Yes, that's awesome. So today we're going to talk about the business health check to make sure that we're doing our business health check. So do you guys maintain your cars? I'm sure everybody here does. Your car needs an oil change every 3,000 miles. Some people say 5. It depends. And I heard if you use AMSOIL, it could even be less than that, right? But it needs a wash every few weeks. It needs a new battery every 5 years. What kind of things do you do to maintain your car? We maintain our cars so that we can make sure that we have a car that's running smoothly. Just like you take care of your vehicle to maintain it, to keep it running smooth, you need to perform regular checkups on your business health. It's not about performance, it's about the safety. And we're even worrying about your safety of your business. Most business owners are extremely busy working on various parts of their operation. So regular checkup on financial health are necessary to maintain control and avoid financial problems. With this in mind, here is a rundown of creating and maintaining a routine business check plan for the small business. We're going to talk about revenue. Write this down. We're going to talk about revenue, expenses, and receivables. Those are all essential to business growth and success. And if you guys noticed, I also put my worksheet out of my book, From Here to There Consulting. I put chapter 5 is all on putting together our business. I call it pre-spending plan, but also our life pre-spending plan, right? We need to have them both entwined, together so that we can be successful. The leading cause of businesses going on under in 5 years is the lack of making sure that they have, I don't like to call it a business budget because nobody likes the word budget, but let's call it a pre-spending plan. So if we know where we're spending our money, then we will be more aware of where it's going. So today, that's what I'm going to talk about. Revenue is your business money before any expenses are removed. With revenue, your company can profit and stay viable in the long run. So that's so important for you to have your revenue correct. So who here, put it in the chat, make sure that you do your revenue and that you know exactly what your revenue is for the year. What are your goals though? Let's talk about that. Each business should have revenue goals, both annually and monthly. Did you hear me? We're literally finishing up the fourth quarter.
I'm sorry, what?
We need to make sure that
well, that's this whole building. Yeah.
Can somebody mute because they're
oh no, I don't believe there's anything over there.
Can you
I think
please
there's just a
mute,
cafe or
Chris?
something over there.
Excuse me, can you mute? I might have to mute all. Okay, because we're hearing you, Chris. I just muted you. So if everybody could mute, and if they want to talk in the chat, I want to make sure we get to cover all this. Unless you have a question for me, then you could unmute, because it's hard for me to see you guys with this PowerPoint up right now. So what goals, budget to actual? Each business should have revenue goals, both annually and monthly. We need to have those. And they need to be writer-downers. You know, I say write it down, because if you write things down, goals happen when you write them down. So how are you marking progress towards those goals? Remember, what are your annual goals? Yearly, monthly, quarterly, right? Actually, it's yearly, quarterly, monthly. And then we can even break it down to weekly, and we could do it daily, right? So how are you doing on making progress towards those goals? And if you're missing your goals, how can you adjust going forward? If you hit or exceed goals, what did you do right? And how can you do more of that in the future? Write these down. Write these 3 questions down. How are you doing on making progress towards your goals for your revenue? If you miss your goals, how can you adjust going forward? And if you hit them or exceeded your goals, what did you do right? And how can you do more of that in the future? So do you have a budget for your business? Put that in the chat. Do you have one or not? If you don't have a budget, make one now. Because we're towards the end of the year. And so for us to get ready for 2024, I always tell people this is my favorite time of year, because people are willing to set goals and move forward and become successful. So what are you using to keep track of your business expenses? Let's talk about those expenses. What are you using to keep track of your business expenses? If you have accounting software, budget tools, use them. Otherwise, just I don't really like people using a spreadsheet, but that's handy. So you can at least do that with a spreadsheet so you can tweak it. Because I don't know where you're at in your business, but as you compare your budget to actual results, consider those shortfalls and what went wrong. Adjust your spending to make up for revenue shortfalls. And if your revenue exceeds predictions, you can start building your business emergency fund slowly, because that's important. You know, emergency fund for your life and your business, 3 to 6 month emergency fund for both are so important. So if you're making more money after you pay your expenses, make sure you're starting to save. That's what I'm talking about, for that emergency fund, because we all have those small, what is it called? Less productive quarters, right? Depending on what your business is. That's great, Renee. I love when people use QuickBooks. That's my favorite, but I understand you have to use what's affordable for you. So even Excel spreadsheet, if you're a startup, that's the best way to track it, even writing it on paper. But yeah, QuickBooks is amazing and can do so much for your business. And then we need to identify how clients are affecting our revenue. Did you hear me? Your clients affect your revenue. Do you have any customers who drain your energy? The ones who consistently ask for discounts or ask for more add-ons. Maybe it's a time to cut those losses. So be careful to identify your project very clearly when clients have added to things on the list, because there's a lot of clients that like to do those add-ons. You give them a quote for what it's going to cost, and then they want more. So be sure to have a backstop when you charge more. We will do that for no charge, can get you in trouble over time. So be careful of those people. When it comes to your revenue, they may be costing you more in the long time and motivating than they are worth. So you can lose your motivation because some people are draining you. Okay. They drain you emotionally, or they're asking for all these add-ons. So we need to look at our clients, who are the good ones and who are the ones that are doing things like that. Do not take every client who walks through your door. When starting a business, it seems like a good idea to keep every paid client, no matter how much a headache they may cause. But keeping bad clients around can hold you back and keep you from paying the bills. Write that down. It can hold you back and keep you from paying your bills. So conservatively, you may have one client whose account for most of your revenue. That's great for now. But what would happen if the client went out of business tomorrow? In that case, we got to be careful. So we talked about revenue, right? We talked about our revenue. And what are your business goals? These are the things I was asking. So do you have a budget? What do you need in a budget? What are you using to keep track of your budget? Identify your clients affecting your revenue and review your best revenue sources. But we don't want like one client to be, but that's okay if that's what you have right now. But we want to make, diversify. You ever hear about that when you're, in mutual funds, they diversify. We want to do that with clients as well. So then we talked about expenses. Review your best, like I said. So now we're going to talk about, suppose too much of your time is spent on non-revenue generating. That's what we want to talk about too. Do you spend too much of your time on non-revenue generating tasks such as bookkeeping, websites, maintenance, or answering non-essential emails? In that case, consider outsourcing them. Now, I understand if you're a startup, you might have to do it all. But over time, start realizing what you need to delegate and send out over time. This progress may seem off-putting initially, but it's necessary for growth. So usually when you're about 5 years in, 5 to 10 years in, actually 5, you need to start outsourcing. Maybe if you're making enough revenue, you could do that before that, because it's so important that you do things that are causing income revenue, right? So we need to look at what are we doing that's causing revenue, and what are those things like social, maybe we need to outsource social media, bookkeeping, all those things that are not causing revenue. And they're important. I mean, if you're a bookkeeping business, obviously, or if you're social media, of course you want to do more of that. But tracking expenses gives your business a good idea of how much money is spent. So right above, I was talking about tracking your time. Now we're talking about tracking your expenses. Write that down. We need to track our time and track our expenses. But the time is just what do we need to long-term outsource. So tracking expenses give business a good idea of how money is spent and helps them chart a future course of action with clarity and confidence. Take a look at your expenses. Which one take up the bulk of your cash flow? If you've been in business for a while, some increase in expenses may be due to healthy growth, but some may have gotten out of hand when you weren't paying attention. That's why regular checkups of expenses let you look for ways to save money. So we should be doing these health checkups at least once a quarter, right? So what to do about it? Ensure you are always looking for the best deals on expenses like office supplies, travel, and food. However, if you have employees or hired independent contractors, be aware of cutting staff to reduce cost. You may find that your product or service suffers and loses help. So anyway, over time, you're going to lose those savings. So you need to be careful that you're tracking that. So then we need to talk about, next we're going to talk about receivables. These are your receivables. Do you do a good job of monitoring your receivables? Answer that in the chat, please. Do you do a good job of that? Do you know what your receivables? Remember, your business is not a bank. Accounts receivable is the money your business has a right to receiving because it has provided the customers with goods and services. It's important for companies to closely monitor receivables to make sure customers pay their bills and minimize their loss. Are you doing a good job of that? Do you do a good job of monitoring your receivables and following up with those past due invoices? If not, you could negatively affect your cash flow and jeopardize your business. Remember, your business is not a bank. Write that down. Your business is not a bank. As much as you want to help others, your business is not a bank. Have a clear policy on overdue accounts and follow through on collecting, even if you have to outsource it. Make sure you get what you need for your receivables. You should consider writing an agreement with all your customers. And the agreement should establish clear expectations from when payments are due and what happens when they don't receive those payments, such as charging interest or referring to a collection. Consider also collecting deposits for new clients or one who are chronically late. Like I am a coach and a consultant. I always have people pay a month in advance because that's so much better, because then you're never behind. They pay and then they get their service. So figure out what that process is for your clients. Additional areas to monitor is your bookkeeping. So you need to monitor your bookkeeping. Do you have good bookkeeping system, accounting system? Is it easy to gather your financial data to do these reviews? If not, you may need to work on a better system. When you can't access actual financial data quickly, you're running the risk of letting problems spiral out of control before you're aware of them. That's why it's so important to run your business as a business. So what to do about it? If you want to continue doing the books, try setting aside a little time every week. Time block that time, though, on your calendar to record your expenses, prepaids, and send out those invoices, pay your bills, and reconcile your accounts. If you just can't commit to staying on top of bookkeeping, it might be a good time to consider outsourcing. The great thing about outsourcing accounts task is it can be scalable. Right now, you may just need someone for a few hours per month, but as your business grows, outsourcing bookkeeping can grow with you. Now, be sure also that you have your business. Be sure that you have your business classification. I think that's what we were just talking about right here is, are you a sole proprietorship? Are you a partner? Are you joint, corporate? So we got to make sure we have that classified. If your business classified still fits, you may have started a sole proprietorship, but you grow enough, then it might make sense to file an LLC or to take advantage of tax savings by making an S Corp elective. What to do? Talk to your attorneys and a CPA about whether it makes sense to change your business and entity. Costs are involved, so you need professional advice to perform a cost-benefit analysis based on your unique system. Your unique situation. So how often do you need a checkup? Quarterly. That's what I said before. We need quarterly checkups. Set goals to perform your business checklist every quarter and block out a few hours on your calendar and don't let yourself skip it. That's an important date with yourself. If you need extra monitoring, seek out another small business or mastermind group to provide that accountability, or work with a coach or consultant such as me. Necessary for growth. This progress may seem off-putting initially, but it's necessary part of growth and success. This can uncover a lot of room for improvement. If you uncovers a lot of room for improvement, don't try to fix everything all at once. Set goals for improvement. Set 3 goals and 3 activities that will keep your business growing and thriving. Did you hear me? Write that down. Set 3 goals and 3 activities that will keep your business growing. Work on setting up those goals. They will keep your business thriving for years to come. Now, when we talk about creating a quickie buzz budget, make sure that you are telling all your income sources, determining those fixed costs. So write down income sources, determine your fixed costs, include those various expenses, predict one-time expenses. So some of these, let's go back and just review. And I also want to make sure I leave time for you guys to ask questions for sure. I don't know if I have any in the chat or if people let me stop right now just real quick so I can make sure nobody has questions. I want to make sure if you guys have questions this far that we can talk about them. So if you'd like to either talk to me or put it in the chat, do you guys have any questions for me at this point? Because I know I've covered a lot in 20 minutes, trying to get caught up from starting late, but does anybody have a question for me?
Yes, I have a question. Great presentation, by the way. I had a couple questions on when people pay you over Zelle or Cash App. I know they had a limit last year that they were going to, I think, for sure enforce this year. Do you have any advice on that? Thank you.
Well, a lot of times you can do an invoice through QuickBooks if you have QuickBooks and PayPal. But I'm not sure about Cash App in that because I don't, but I know Venmo is doing the same thing. They're wanting you to set up on a business. And a lot of people will use, a credit card processor too. So there's a lot of different ways, but you need to pay attention. Part of your expenses is how much is that costing you to receive that revenue? Is there a cheaper way to go about that? So that would take some research and to sit down with an accountant, a coach, or somebody and talk about those different strategies. That's where I'm talking about that we're going to tally up your income. So the first element of responsible business budgeting is figure out how much you're bringing in every month. Look over your profit and loss statements. So does everybody know how to do their P&Ls? And does anybody have other questions for the first session I just taught you on? And now we're going to talk about this session. I also want to let people know that there is worksheets, but they're associated with my book, and my link tree is in here too, so that you can reach out to me if you have any other questions too over time. Your first element, though, is to make sure that you have a business budget, is figuring out how much money you're bringing in. So write that down, your income source, and then determine those fixed costs. Does everybody know what fixed costs are? Fixed costs are expenses that are charged the same price every month. As you can imagine, incorporating them is easy part of creating your business budget because they just happen every month. What are the things you're paying for? Are you paying for a website? Are you paying for, Google Ads? Are you paying for QuickBooks? What are you paying for? Start thinking about all those and write those down. And then include those various expenses like we were just talking about. Items that have a fixed price tag each month are called variable. They have a unfixed, right? They're not, they're variable. So how much are you paying to receive your cash? Because are you using Cash App? Are you using Zelle? Are you using Venmo? Or are you using PayPal? Are you doing it through QuickBooks? Or do you have a credit card processor? What are you using? And what % of your revenue are you having to pay in that? That's a great question that I was just asked. And they're all wanting their piece of the pie. And so we need to figure out how much that really is. Items that don't have a fixed price tag. So that's what I was saying. Many of them are purchased, make it scale up or down depending on the state of your business. Using your monthly profit will determine by the earnings you're left with after paying your costs. So if your business does better than your forecast, you can use that extra fund to increase your variable spending, enabling you to grow faster. But remember what else I talked about? Making sure that we're putting a little bit away for the emergency fund. So I always like to say this about emergency fund. Remember great grandma would say, save for a rainy day. When it happens, not if it happens. We all have slow months. We have things that happen in our business. There's accidents that might happen. You might get sick. All these things that we need to prepare for. So make sure yes, we're using that extra money to grow our business, but we're also using that extra money to protect our business by putting together an emergency fund. Items that you may have, like I said, those are your, and then predictable one-time items. A great perk of creating a budget is now you can factor in those one-time purchases better than ever before. Well, some of these items may come up unexpectedly, like purchasing a laptop to replace the one that crashed. Others can be budgeted for monthly in advance, like that business retreat you've been eyeing to protect your business from financial burdens, because that's important too, right? To do business retreats or go to, this is free, right? This is great, but we always need to be making sure that if we have extra money, right, we can hire a coach, we can hire a consultant, we can go to different things like this that's free. This is free though, so always go to those free things, right? But we can also make sure that we're budgeting that. I always go to at least one seminar for business, more than that. As a matter of fact, I speak at a bunch of seminars, but I go to at least one growth place, right, where you can get more skills to grow your business. So you can say for that is too, well, but those will be your predictable one-time expenses. So computers, some office equipment you might need, whatever you need for your business, you can start saving for that. Now, putting it all together, I've talked about a lot, I know. That the first 4 steps of this post details the elements of a reasonable business budget. So the last step is simply pulling it all together. Take action by using this handy checklist with specific examples so you can create your budget without any hassle. What is your hourly earning? So many entrepreneurs do not pay themselves first. Have you ever heard you should pay yourself first? Yes, you should. But what is your hourly earning? What are you making as the CEO or owner of your business? What's your product sales? What's your investment income? Like I said, talking about investing in yourself, putting in an emergency fund, buying a computer. And do you have loans? If you have loans, we need to make sure we're keeping track of them too. And then savings, remember I talked about that, and any other expenses that you have. And then some of our fixed expense is our rent or our mortgage for our business. Do you have a front side? A lot of people are not doing that anymore, having office space, because after the pandemic, we found out we didn't need it. I think before we probably didn't need it as much, but some of us are mom and pops and we need that. So we need to be taking care of that. Your utilities, your salary. I know I talked about hourly, but we need to figure out what your salary is and how much are you making an hour. Your interest and your government and bank fees. If you pay for your entity we need to put all that in. What is your cell phone? What's your website host? If you're getting accounting services, what's that? What are your legal services? Your insurance? Those would be all of your fixed costs, right? So write those down. Those are your fixed. Now your variable costs could be raw materials, contractors' wages, or people that work for you, your commission, your advertisement, other marketing costs, transportation, travel or events, printing services. And then your one-time spending could be your computer, your furniture, your software, your office supplies, and gifts. Create a monthly business budget may seem like a hassle, but I bet it's something you've been thinking about for a long time. Take the leap. It's an essential project that allows you to make conscious financial decisions in your business and can keep your business on track. Okay, so tax payable is more of a variable, right? Because usually it's a percent of what you make. So I just had somebody put that in the chat. So how much are you paying in taxes? You have a percent. So we should be putting that in a savings account as a business owner. I think it's 10% or 20% as a business owner that you need to. So every time you get paid, you should pay yourself, but you should pay your taxes, right? So we need to have a savings account just for taxes. Because what happens if you don't have to pay that 20% taxes quarterly? Then you end up with a little bit of savings. But a lot of people put themselves in a predicament when their taxes are due. They don't have the money to pay their taxes because they didn't plan for it. And that is variable, right? Because it's a percentage. So figure out what the percentage is, talk to your CPA or your accountant, put it in your savings account, prepare for that day. What else stands in your way of balancing your business budget? What are some things that you guys feel overwhelmed when you're talking about your business budget? Put it in the chat. Let's talk about that. You guys have some things or questions regarding that? You know, no questions are dumb. The only dumb questions are the ones that you don't ask. So go ahead and ask any questions that you guys have this far, because what I want you to do is be successful in your business. So what are some questions that you have about being successful in your business? Just take a moment and ask me. What else stands out? Like I said, are there any hurdles we're missing and currently have you paralyzed from moving forward? Because when you hear the word business budget, does that freak you out? Does that make you feel good? How does it make you feel? Come on, guys, we need some interaction. Put it in the chat, or you can just go ahead and unmute and talk. There's not that many of us, so we'd be good with that. So I can't answer questions when I don't know what they are. And I want you to get what you need out of this session. So what can I answer?
Quick question for you.
Yes.
Yes. So if you're just a sole proprietorship, but you want to do more, like you feel like you need to add more people, how do you know price wise, money wise, how do you know when you've gotten to the point where you can actually start adding to your business as far as the employees go?
Okay, so the way to know that is to start keeping track of your budget. And where are you going to feel like if you have an emergency fund and you already know you can, have 3 to 6 months or whatever, each business is different. I would have to know what you're in business for, but I'm saying you need to feel financially, and I help people with that all the time because we sit down, we look at your budget and we figure out when can we outsource, when can we hire other people? Are we at that point? What makes you feel comfortable to be able to do that? So do you need that 3 to 6 month emergency? Well, that would be great. Do you need a write-up of exactly who you're looking for? That would be great. Do you just need a part-timer and then slowly grow from that? There's all these things, right, that you need to take into consideration to hire your first employee or even to outsource. And it's very important. I'm glad that you're wanting to grow like that because that is important to do. Because who wants to be a master of all, a jack of all trade and a master of none? That's not what we're in business for. We're in business because we want to do what we want to do. Oh, okay. Somebody just said they need a new CPA. And how do you vet one? Sort of like you do a real estate agent. And by the way, I'm a coach and a consultant, and I'm here to support and help the Kansas City area for sure. And you can always reach out to me, but I will tell you regarding a consult and a coach, if you ever hire one, interview them. CPA, interview them. Don't just hire a real estate agent, financial advisor, coach, any of these people, interview them. So go do some research, look what you're wanting to look for, and make sure, because they should be working for you. Did you hear me? And not all are the same. Like you said, you need a new CPA because maybe they're not doing what you need them to do, or they're too much, or what is the, obstacles there. But remember, you get what you pay for. Write that down. A lot of times people try to get cheaper people, but you get what you pay for too. So we need to make sure that we get good quality people on our team as we create the team to help us move from here to there. See the pun I just made? But that's what we need to do. And I never go to a doctor. Do you guys go to a doctor without getting a referral from a family, somebody else that likes them? Get referrals, read reviews. Like if you go out and read all my reviews, guess what? They say the same thing over and over about me. So you're like, wow, this lady's like this. Yeah. And I might not be the right fit because this is who I am. Same with CPAs. If they don't have good reviews or you don't have people that refer you to them, make sure you do. And when you're going to hire your first employee, make sure you have a job description and everything that you're looking for in that person. So anyway, is there any other questions for people? Because I want you guys to go out and create the life and business that you love, because I support entrepreneurship in small businesses to help them create the life and business that they love, because we need to have our finances, our business, and our life all in balance. Because why did you go into business? Everybody want to put that in chat. Why did you go into business? Because a lot of times we start losing track of our why. So why did you guys go into business?
Sherry, real quick, one question I have. When you talked about financial tracking, do you recommend QuickBooks, or is there something that's similar, or is that?
You can use Quicken, you can use QuickBooks, you could use Excel spreadsheet. Me personally, I love QuickBooks because I've used it for years. And somebody just put they want to do what they love before they retire. That's fine. And then Renee even put to make money and work for myself. And that's fine. But do you want to travel? Do you want to write? What are your goals in life and business? Because you and I all know life is too short to not be doing what you're called to do. Oh, somebody put there's an accounting software called Wave. I don't know about that. When it's time for you to walk away from your 9 to 5 is when you feel comfortable. But a lot of times you need to make sure to have a 9 to 5, so to speak, and build your business is a great idea. When you start making enough revenue in your business that you feel comfortable to pay your bills and to do what you need to do, then jump on your business. But that's, again, a personal choice, right? And you need, I'm people's guide. I guide people to get them from here to there. That's what I do as a coach and a consultant. But again, I have to know more about you personally, and I'm happy to sit down with any of you. I do a free 1-hour consultation, which you can find me on Linktree. But what was I going to say? But I'm here to support the community and do whatever I can do. If you guys want to put your information in the chat and what you do, then you guys could at least know what each of you do and support you. And you guys all know how to save the chat, right? Does anybody here not know how to save the chat? Because that would be great if we all, because that way we could pass our business cards by doing that. Okay, there's 3 dots right here. And then it says save chat at the very top. So if we look right down at the very bottom in the chat where it says more, there's a dot, and it'll say more. And at the very top, it says save chat. So if everybody puts their contact information that would like to in the chat, then we all will be able to network that way. And everybody has my Linktree, right? That's perfect. See, he just gave you your website, your email, whatever you have. And if you guys don't know about Linktree, because that's what I saved in here, I put in here was my Linktree. That is free to put it all, everything in one place. And there's my Linktree. You guys have any more questions? I want you guys to enjoy Entrepreneurship Week. Thank you for your patience with this starting late. I really appreciate you all are here. If there's any more questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to give you guys back your 5 minutes of your day. Any other questions from anybody? And everybody knows how to save the chat. I would recommend that, putting your information in the chat and go ahead and save it. And I'm going to stay on here so everybody can put that there and everybody can save the chat. Well, I love that t-shirt branding that promote positive energy. That's great. So you can put your email, your website, you know, whatever, or all your contact information in the chat. That would be great because that's a great way for us to pass our. Who here uses electronic cards? Where you can just email, you know, text them or whatever. I like I like just regular cards, but I was wondering who here uses the electronic ones, because that's another way to share information. Any more questions? Everybody want to put their stuff in the chat? Let me know. Otherwise, we can wrap up. Make sure you save the chat. Thank you for joining me. You can follow me on social media. Or you can sign up, like I said, on my website for a free consultation if you're interested. And there's my information. You guys have a blessed day. And everybody save that chat and put your information in the chat box. And I'm going to stay on here just so people can do that. But otherwise, you guys all can go on to your day. Bye, guys.